Good morning, class. So today we will be starting with the second unit in Java database programming. So in today's session, we will be looking into the introduction to JDBC. Then what actually is JDBC? We will be also studying the JDBC architecture. Then what are the applications of JDBC? What are the types of JDBC architecture and your JDBC components? So we were doing the introduction of JDBC. So if I have to connect, now here what actually you're going to do, you have the user interface, you have the front end, which you have created maybe using console, or you are going to create it using your GUI, swings and all, and then you have to connect the backend. Now you already done PostgreSQL, RDBMS. So there you know how to create the tables, you know how to insert the values, how to update the values, how do you delete the values, and so on. So I'm going to connect my backend, so which is going to be PostgreSQL, MySQL, and I'm going to connect it with the front end. So that is the rule, or that is where your JDBC is going to come in picture. So basically it is a protocol or the API for Java applications to communicate with the various databases. Fine. So the database can be anything. We need to connect it with the front end. Now JDBC supports you with the language which gives the JDBC standard. So there are some protocols, there are some API, you know, application program interface. So there are some commands which are already stated there, and when as soon as you install the Java installation, the JRE and all these APIs will be there. So I need to work on those standards, I need to work on those protocols, and then only I'm able to connect with my backend. Fine. Then a JDBC needs that we write the programs with which we try to access the database. Now let's say you have created a student table of TYBCS class division B. Then what information you have written? You have written the roll number, name. So you have created the table. And if I say, okay, I just want the students only the first test student, so then you fire the query. So those particular statements, the way which you write in SQL, similar programs I need to write in Java, so that I'm able to access my database, right? Now JDBC along with the database driver is capable of accessing the databases and the spreadsheet. So straight away I'm not able to access, right? Now you know to create the SQL table, you know to create the PostgreSQL, but if I ask you to fire the query, you open the Postgre command prompt, and from there you try, or you open the terminal and there you fire the query. But if I say I have a user interface form, I have created a form using Swing, and I want to access the database there. So that time it is not possible because my Java is not connected to Postgre. So for that connection, I need a proper driver, right? So I need to connect that. So there actually the database driver comes into picture, which is the part of your JDBC. Clear with this? So basically it is an interaction of communication with the database and the front end. Now database, they have given you a list of database which can be used, or JDBC can be used in this. You can add your PostgreSQL, your MySQL, everything over here. Now it is also platform independent interface between the RDBMS and the Java program. And it allows the Java program to execute SQL statements and retrieve results. So you are going to write your SQL queries in Java program, and then you are able to create a connection with the backend PostgreSQL and the Java interface. So this is how JDBC is going to play its role. Fine. So this is a brief introduction of what actually you mean by JDBC, Java database connectivity. So proceeding further. So what actually it is going to do? Now, as we said, it is having a standard Java API for database independent connectivity between the Java programming and wide range of databases. Now, databases, as I said, can be anything. Fine. So it can be MySQL, PostgreSQL, or everything. So that databases I can have. So what is the role of JDBC? Now, as I'm again and again saying that there are APIs, there are standard protocols, there are some lines. So what actually are those? So these are all library. So API is basically the library, the commands which are already given to you by Java. So you don't have to write your coding there. You are just going to use those commands, use those methods given to you by the JDBC environment, you are going to use the API and you are going to write your own programs based on the methods which are already given by the library functions. Clear? So that is the JDBC library which is included in the API for each task mentioned. So what you are going to do, first you have the PostgreSQL, you have the Java interface. You are going to make a connection with the database. Then you are going to connect with the database by the connect prompt. Then you are going to create the database. If the database is already created, you can fire the select queries and then try to execute it. The PostgreSQL or the backend database is going to retrieve the queries, and that queries you are going to display or modify or display it on the user interface or present it as the record. Fine. So all these 4 or 5 statements I'm going to execute or provide as a task to create it as a JDBC library. Create. Now this is just a theoretical I'm trying to say. When you do practically, you will understand how do you maintain the connection, how do you create a SQL statement, how do you use the insert statement, how do you execute the queries, and how do you modify the result set and try to display the record. Clear? So this is the APIs which is given to you by the JDBC library. Now we move further. Now, why basically we need JDBC? What are going to be the applications of JDBC, right? So JDBC is fundamentally a specification that provides complete set of interfaces. So I can write a small application, like in core Java, you have written small standalone application. You try to create a student name, and then just try to display it. A small application you can create, or you have learned applets also. So I can create Java applets, then Java servlet and JSP. We will be learning. Servlet is your next topic in advanced Java. So Java server pages. So I can create. So basically anything which you try to create, I need to connect it to my database. So my JDBC is going to work or help me with all these applications. Fine. But only thing is, for working of all this, I need to have different JDBC drivers which are going to access my database and take advantage or try to retrieve the stored data which is stored in the servers. Fine. So a specific driver has to be assigned to that. So we will be coming to what actually are JDBC drivers. Now, JDBC provides similar capabilities as that of the ODBC. What is ODBC? Open Database Connectivity. So if I'm not trying to work or create any user interface in Java, then I don't necessarily need JDBC. Maybe my front end is in PHP. Maybe I've created my front end using Visual Studio or VB or VB.NET. So in that case, still I need to connect to my backend. So for that, whatever connection you use is called as your ODBC or Open Database Connectivity. But when it comes to Java, it is called as the JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. Fine. So these are the applications which are given to you by the JDBC. Now, coming to the architecture, what actually is JDBC and how the architecture of JDBC is given to you. Now, as I said, JDBC is going to be the connection between the backend and the front end. So look at the front end here. The front end, as I said, can be a Java applet, it can be a small application, it can be a servlet, and your database can be SQL Server, Oracle, MS Access, PostgreSQL, MySQL, anything. So your server can be anything. So I need to connect this server with this API. So I need these two particular layers or tiers. So this particular is called as your JDBC architecture. Fine. So what I need? A database. So to connect my database with the applications, I need to have a JDBC driver manager. So what is a driver manager? It assigns what driver can be used so that I can connect from my backend with the front end. And then of this driver manager again cannot directly work with application. You need to understand the protocols, you need to understand the library, the functions which you're going to connect. So those are called as your JDBC API, application program interface. And along with that, then you are going to connect with. So here you are going to know the methods and all which are going to connect with your servlet. The methods again are going to work with the driver manager, and driver manager instead is going to work with your databases. So this is the JDBC architecture. Fine. Now JDBC architecture, here you can see a 3. Now JDBC architecture, basically as we have seen, it has got 4 stages. So application. Now what actually is application? It is a Java applet or a servlet which is going to communicate with the data source. Fine. So application, or the basically, just remember, this is going to be the front end and this is going to be the back end. Then what is JDBC? These are the programs which allow us to execute the SQL statement and retrieve the result. Right? So the API includes important classes, interfaces, methods which are necessary to create the databases, to open the databases, to connect with the database, to retrieve the database, to modify the database. So all those will be included and defined in the JDBC API. So this is the layer which we have seen. Then third is, I have the JDBC driver. Now what are the driver manager? Now I'll tell you. Now let's say if I'm explaining to you this Java lecture, fine. So I have the information about Java, fine, and you are there to gain the information which I have, right? So I am going to be the server wherein the knowledge is stored, and you are going to the front end who need the knowledge. Okay, what is there in JDBC? So you ask me a question, what is there in JDBC? And the knowledge has to be come from the server to you, right? But so that is, see here. So this is me and this is you. So what actually is JDBC, or what is the driver? Now, if I try to explain to you everything what I try to tell you now in French or in German, how many of you are going to understand that? No one. So are the methods wrong? No. There is a server, there is a client who wants the knowledge. And the API, is it wrong? No, the language. But the language you are not able to understand. That means there is not wrong with the system as such. Only thing is you need a interpreter, or you need a language with which the knowledge is shared from the backend to the front end. Fine. So I need a proper. So what you say, ma'am, try to explain it in English. We are not able to understand. Then I try to change. So basically, when we are assigning the teachers, okay, when the syllabus is decided, then we say, okay, the students understand English, so there has to be a teacher who knows English. What if we have a very expert Java programmer, Java expert, but she teaches in German? Then you are not able to understand it. So you need a teacher who understands English as well as Java program. Fine. So what we have done, we have tried to select a proper teacher. So same is with the driver manager. The data which has to be driven from the backend to the front end has to be properly selected. Then only the data is going to travel. Fine. A simple thing. If I ask you to travel from your home to college, and if I say, okay, this is the keys, you drive, then most of you might come. But most of you say, ma'am, we don't know car. Then I said, okay, you know the bike? Yes, ma'am, we know bike. Then I give the bike keys. Some will say, we don't know bike, we know bicycle. Then they take the bike. So basically, we need to choose a proper driver so that the data has to be coming from the back end to the front end. So a selection of the driver, what driver has to be selected, whether the driver knows the source, whether the driver knows the destination, and whether the driver knows the route also. Right? If he knows how to drive the car, but he don't know the route. So the entire process, the driver is the main part. So we have to select the driver, and the selection of the option of the driver is the work of your driver manager. So for a driver is or proper or appropriate driver is selected, and then we have to make the connection. Then we tell the driver, okay, you know the car, yes. Then you know where we have to go. He will say, no, okay, we have to go from home to Wadiapur. So then we have to make a connection. Then we ask in the statement, okay, these are the statement, or these are the guidelines, we give it to him. Fine. Then the other things will come. Unless and until a proper driver is given, all these things are just going to fail. You have a strong database, you have a strong front end, but if a driver manager is not there, a proper driver is not selected, the entire process is going to fail. So the driver manager's role is at most important. Fine. Then these are the roles of the driver manager. We are anyways going to see these components in detail. What is a connection? What is a statement? What is a prepared statement? What is a callable statement? Everything. Right. So So the driver manager, important role in JDBC architecture, because it uses some data specific, or maybe some drivers know only PostgreSQL, they don't know MySQL, then it, and your data is in MySQL, then what is the use of that driver? So same concept. So just for your understanding, I'm trying to explain it that a teacher is in English or teacher is in German, fine. So that you need to understand the language which the database as well as the front end is trying to understand. So this is the JDBC driver, which is going to communicate with the data source through the JDBC. So you need to understand the JDBC driver, who should intelligently communicate with the respective data sources. Fine. So then we have seen the JDBC architecture, right? Now your JDBC architecture can be supported, or it can be of two types, right? It can be given by two types, your 2-tier or your 3-tier. We are going to see in the next slide what is a 2-tier model and what is a 3-tier model. So then JDBC API, basically you've understood. Now JDBC driver API. So JDBC API is from the API to the application, fine. And JDBC driver API, JDBC API to the driver. So this communication also has to be perfect. This communication also has to be perfect. So JDBC API will be divided in two parts, one with which it connects with the front end and one with which it connects with the back end or the driver. So these are the two APIs which is given: JDBC to the manager connection, sorry, to the front end, and JDBC manager to driver connection. So JDBC API uses a driver manager and a database specific drivers to provide transparent connectivity to heterogeneous databases, because your databases might be heterogeneous. Some data you have stored in MySQL, some you have stored in PostgreSQL, some you have stored in MS Access and other things. So data can be heterogeneous or stored at different places. So you need to have a specific or a proper appropriate driver for that. So that is the role of the JDBC driver manager, who ensures that the correct driver is used to access each and every data of the source. And the driver manager is capable of supporting multiple concurrent drivers, which should be connected to multiple heterogeneous database. Fine. So this is the overall brief about JDBC, the JDBC architecture, and about your 2-tier and 3-tier models. So anyways, we are just going to do the 2-tier model and the 3-tier model, and we are going to stop today. Fine. So just see what actually is 2-tier. Now, because we have done JDBC architecture, you know how the data is going to flow. Now, what is JDBC 2-tier? Now, in 2-tier, what happens? The application directly communicates with the data source. So that means this application will just have API and directly connects it. It won't have the in-between driver manager. Fine. So that means, let's say I'm trying to teach you. Here you just have two, a client and a server. No middleman. So I directly communicate with you. So let's say if you have any query, right? So what I do, you directly come to me. So no, or let's say suppose you want to ask about the timetable or your other things, and you need to talk with the HOD. So what you do first, you come to me, then I give your message to HOD, and HOD will convey it to me, and I give it to you. So in that basis, what happens? Time is going on, and there is a middleman. So I am the middleman here, which I'm communicating with Nimcursor and with the student. So this becomes a 3-tier. But in 2-tier, what happens? Any information you want, you directly go to the HOD, HOD to student, student to HOD. So direct communication is there. And so this particular driver, so we have a driver who will directly communicate with the application and the data source. And the user sends a query to the data source, query is answered and retrieved. So this is a client server configuration, in which the user machine acts as a client and the machine with the data source acts as the server. So no middleman, direct entry. So this can happen if it is a very small class. Let's say a very small college of only 100 students. So 100 student managing is easy, because 100 student, 100 queries can be easily sorted by the HOD. But what happens if a college is big? Now, if there are 1,000 students, is it possible for the HOD to answer each and every query? No. So what he does, 1,000 divided into 10 classes, 100 each. He assigns a class teacher. Okay, you talk with the class teacher. class teacher will come back to me. So the HOD just has to handle 10 teachers, and 10 teachers individually has to handle only 100, or maybe even that can be divided into division A, division B. Division A, one coordinator, division B, two. So what we have tried to do, we have to try to have a middleman. So that is what is a 3-tier. So in 3-tier, the query or the user goes to the middle tier services and the middle tier to the data sources. So when your data is vast, when your data is stored at multiple locations, I need to have an intermediate server so that data or the machine doesn't catch, and the data is sorted and it is easy for us. So what, as I said, if 1000 students go to Nimkar or HOD and go on asking the questions, then it will be difficult for him to answer, so that the system will crash. So this is the 3-tier model. So the result goes back to the middle tier and middle tier to the back. And finally, then it goes to the user. So this is beneficial for manager information system, or at a hierarchical or top levels where the information should not directly, or a student should not directly go to the management or the principal, but they have to follow the hierarchy, and as and on they need to follow it. So similar will apply in the architecture. Clear? Now we are going to do what are the components which are needed in JDBC component. So we have seen we need a driver manager. Now what is the role of the driver manager? He needs to list all the database driver. So when the HOD or the principal is going to assign the teachers, he will say, okay, this is a student. Now most of the students in this class understand Marathi. So is it possible for a Marathi teacher explain them the concept? Then a proper driver is given to them. And in this class, the mixed crowd. So the driver manager's role to assess and check the databases and match a connection from the Java application to the proper database. Fine. Then the driver. Then what is the role of the driver? He handles the communication. So once a teacher has been allocated, she will handle the entire class. She will take the test, she will take the lectures, practicals, assess the marks, create a report, and then submit it. So that is the role of the driver, a proper communication with the backend and the student. So this is the second component. Then is the connection. So how the connection is made? So how do I conduct the lecture? So if it is offline, I come to your class, I explain it to you on the board. If it is online, I give you the link, you connect with the connection. So what happens if I give you a wrong link? I am waiting in some other meet and you are waiting in some other meet. So the connection also has to be proper. So communication with the database through connection object. And then statement. So I'm giving you this PPT. Okay, this is the information and this is what I'm trying to share with you. Then you check the PPTs, you see the recording, you try to understand the concept. So that is where your statement is coming. And after this statement, then you're going to get the results. So I fire the query. Now here I'm creating a connection with the database, student information database. I fire the query, find all the students studying in TYBSCCS Division B, and I get a Division B class, and then I fire some query. So let's say I want to give you some assignment, some other thing, then that is going to retrieve me, which will be stored in the result set. Fine. And in between this, everything, how I'm going to do this connection, statement, result set, I'm going to fire the SQL queries. All the SQL queries which you have previously done, you need to know them thorough. Because if I ask you, okay, retrieve me this data, and if you don't know the query, you're not going to understand anything. So even if you know Java, if you don't know SQL, how are you going to connect it? So the query. And if any error with the database, any error with the statement, a statement is given wrong, a result is coming wrong, a connection table is given wrong, it has to throw an exception, which is called as the SQL exception, which is there to handle any errors which is given to you by the database application. Maybe the connection is not done, the connection is broken, or the password given to the database is not given properly, or no such database exists, no such table exists, or no, the data mismatch. Any SQL error can be handled by this. So we stop here today. These are the reference sites for which I have taken the reference from the net for creating these presentations. So see you next time in the next lecture. Till then, thank you.